SuperTalk Mississippi media production. Pike County, here comes your morning show. Dave in the morning on 93.5 FM, SuperTalk Mississippi.
So now, understand, you're not going to dictate to me what I do and what I don't do, but I'm still the mayor, Mr. Brown.
None of this meeting is recorded. None by any party. Correct?
No, sir, mine is recorded. I'm being accused.
Any contact.
Said I want to make it on record. I want the allegations in writing, or the accused, or on recording of this harassment.
And now, here's your host, Dave Hughes.
Good morning to you. How you doing? Wednesday morning, we have arrived at the midpoint of the week. I have yet to meet anyone who's not happy to be closer to the weekend at any time in my life. Have you ever noticed it seems like sometimes people are happier on Friday than they are on Saturday because of the anticipation. Christmas morning is fun. Christmas Eve is where all the excitement is, right? Where everybody can't get to sleep because, oh my gosh, Santa's coming, is he here? Sometimes the anticipation of a good thing is better than the thing. It's the way it works because humans are basically three chimpanzees in a trench coat pretending to do their taxes. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We did have a board meeting last night. A couple of interesting things, including your trash bills going up, McCall. Yay! We'll talk about that in just a bit. But first, we have something else we need to deal with. We are now 6 days away from the primary elections in the city of Macomb. Next Tuesday, we are officially in gear on the 5th for the primary elections. Those are set. We don't have a ton of, cross-party primaries. By that, I mean we don't have a lot of races that have multiple Republican and multiple Democratic candidates. We've got some on the Democratic side. Definitely. Mayor, of course, leading that list. But on the Republican side, not so much. And that has led to a little bit of confusion regarding who can vote Tuesday. I know this because I've been asked this about a half dozen times in the last 24 hours by different people. Let's clear this up right now. Number one, you make the choice on primary day which primary you're going to vote in. You're not locked into anything at that point, except the only exception is if you vote in the Democratic primary on Tuesday, you would then only be allowed to vote in Democratic runoffs if nobody got 50% plus one vote. We don't have really any Republican primaries, so that's not an issue because there's basically only going to be one set of runoffs, if there are any. So, yes, it does limit you to that. It has zero impact on the general election. And think about it like this. Let's say we had multiple Republican candidates in every race. The people that vote in the Democratic primary get to vote in the general election. The people that vote in the Republican primary get to vote in the general election. It has zero impact on you being able to vote in the general election. No matter which primary you vote in, next Tuesday, you get to go to the polls and cast your ballot in the general election in June. Period. Full stop. No exceptions. If somebody's been telling you something different, they're lying to you. Or they're so horrifically uninformed that I wouldn't trust them. So if you decide you don't have anybody in your ward on the Republican side, and you're a Republican, you've got two choices. You can either not go vote at all and not let your voice be heard, or you can go vote in the Democratic primary. Now, in today's polarized world, that has become almost a horrible thing to say to some. No, I'll never vote in the Democratic anything. They're horrible. Oh, be quiet. That absolutism is going to do us in yet. On Tuesday, coming up, 6 days, 1 week from yesterday, that's the primary elections in the city of Macomb. If you vote in the Democratic primary, you can vote in the general election. You can vote for a Republican or a Democrat in the general election. That's your choice. If you don't vote next Tuesday, you can vote in the general election and vote for a Republican candidate or a Democratic candidate, your choice. It has zero impact on the general election, what you do next Tuesday. It does nothing to affect that. So if you want to vote on Tuesday and you don't have a Republican primary, you don't have a Republican candidate you want to vote for, by all means, if you want to say in how your city is going to be run for the next 4 years, how many years behind we'll, get on audits, go vote. We are not, and I had this conversation many times with former Circuit Clerk Roger Graves, because we do not register by primary. You cannot be a registered Democrat or a registered Republican. Once upon a time, that was the case in a lot of places around the country. Roger said, we've never had that in Pike County. It's never been that way. You register to vote, and then you go vote for whichever side you want, in whichever primary you want. That's true for the modern times. I'm not 100% certain it's always been that way, because I found my grandmother's voter registration card. Now, this would have been back in the early 20s, the last 20s, the 1920s. And her voter registration card listed name, address, and party. That was 100 years ago. It doesn't work that way now. And even then, if you voted in the Democratic primary, you got to vote in the general election for whoever you wanted to vote for. You could vote for a Democrat in the primary and a Republican in the general election in the same race. It was that way then. It's that way now. So if you're hearing this, because a lot of people, there's confusion swirling around this. There always is. And if you're hearing this from people, if somebody has told you, well, you don't need to go vote next week, because if you do, you're not going to be able to vote for a Republican in the general election in June. That's wrong. That no quibbling, no wavering back and forth. That is flat out 100% incorrect. You go vote for whoever you want to next week. And then you go vote for whoever you want to in June. And it doesn't have to be the same person, doesn't have to be the same party. Just want to make sure that we make this clear. We're going to talk about it every day from now until the election because, like I said, that's just in the last day or so. I've had 6 different people reach out to me. It's been dozens over the last week or so. So this confusion is not going away. We're going to try to clear some of that up. We'll be talking about it every day from now until the election next Tuesday. You go vote for who you want to go vote for. That's the American system of governance. You vote for who you want to vote for. The only thing it locks you into in the state of Mississippi, in Pike County specifically, and in Macomb definitely, if you vote in the Republican primary, you can't then turn around and vote in the Democratic primary runoff election. If you vote Republican in the primary, you have to vote Republican in the runoffs if there is one. There won't be one this time. But after that, after any runoffs are settled, it's Ali oxen free. Everybody can vote for whoever they want, no matter what the party is, come June. So, again, if you've heard that, if you've been told that, you have been given bad information. If you want to go vote in the Democratic primary on Tuesday and then vote for a Republican in June, that is 100% definitely allowed. It's not just allowed, it's required. And if somebody tries to change that for you, well, we need to get on the phone with the Secretary of State's office because that's illegal. Hopefully we've cleared this up just a little bit. Like I said, we'll keep talking about it until next week because we're getting down to crunch time here. But tell your friends. This episode, just like every episode of the show, is available online at the SuperTalk website. You can go there. You can listen to it there. You can play it for your friends if they don't believe you, because you need to spread the word about this. And let's try to deal with the confusion. Let's try to clear the fog just a little bit, because there's a lot of fog on this particular subject. By all means, hand it around. Play it for them on your phone, on your computer, whatsoever. Send them a link, whatever, so they can hear it for themselves. There's a reason this is at the very front of the show today. So please help spread the word on this. A lot of people understand this. There are, however, more than a few that don't, and it's understandable. I have been dealing with local politics and politics in general in a professional capacity on the air for over 40 years. This has never not been confusing to folks. That's just the way the election system works and people work. So there's no shame in being confused by it. Nothing to be upset or embarrassed about. Well, we got to get everything straight. We got to get everyone with full knowledge of what their rights are. If you want to vote for a Republican in the primary on Tuesday and then turn around and vote for a Democrat in June, go right ahead. You want to vote for a Democrat in the primary next week and then turn around and vote for a Republican in the same race even in June at the general election. Yes, that's the way it works. So keep that in mind. Spread the word. Let everyone know. If they argue with them, give them the link to the show so that they can hear the explanation for themselves. Because that is 100% the truth, what I just told you. As opposed to some people out there. You know what I'm talking about. We just heard, I don't know if you heard on news at the top of the hour, talking about how prevalent scams are right now. getting worse, actually. Keep one hand on your wallet, keep your other hand on that hand, just as an extra added layer of protection, because there's people out there everywhere trying to get what you got. Don't let them. But that's just another version of what we're talking about here. Some people want the confusion. Some people want you to not know what your rights are. The most important part, of course, go vote. When we come back, we've got audio from last night's meeting. We'll get to that next on Super Talk, Mississippi Pike County 93.5. Keep it right here.
Every now and then, we remind all of you loving, awesome, hardworking husbands that you have a premium it's time to renew. No, it's not life insurance, car insurance, or health insurance. It's way more important than those. I'm Kristen. Gentlemen, it's time to renew those long-term wife insurance policies. When you surprise her with a gift from Selman's, you remind her that no matter what lies ahead, you and she will get through it together. Your gift tells her this long-term wife insurance policy is for life. Renew your long-term wife insurance policy right here at Selman's. We're in it for the long term with you.
Don't miss Dave in the morning. Even when you miss it the first time, you can catch it on the podcast. Missing out would be a crime. Super Talk 93.5 is always the place to be. Want to get the podcast version? Here, my friend, is the key. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. It's all around, it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon, or Apple, or just right there on the page. Dave in the morning, late at night, or anytime you have the crave. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
Weekday mornings at 6 after 9 on 93.5 FM, or you can catch up anytime by going to
SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
Dave in the morning at SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. Catch up and catch on.
Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Keep on shining your light, gonna make everything gonna make everything alright.
Welcome back. Super Talk, Mississippi Pike County 93.5. Well, last night at the regularly scheduled meeting, you have to specify these days. We have as many special called as we do actual regularly scheduled meetings every month in the city of Macomb. We had 2 last week. We only have 2 regularly scheduled a month. So, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Last night, conversation came up about some changes with trash collection in the city of Macomb. It's been discussed for a while now in the meetings. They've been talking about the contract being up for renewal with Waste Management, what they wanted to do if Macomb wanted to go off on its own like Magnolia has, which appears to be working quite well so far, or go back into a contract. What kind of contract? Got some clarity on that last night.
Move number 12 up to number 2. Consider approving the waste management proposal for twice weekly service for the city of Macomb, Mississippi. Can I get a motion and second? Select Woman Isaac.
Second.
Select Woman Baylor. Discussion time. I'm going to yield to my city administrator as it relates to this because he was responsible for reviewing the proposal. He was the one who made the recommendation of at least 2 days collection. So I'm going to yield to him.
And it's really been that way. 2 days a week, trash collection. That's not a change, but there was a discussion about going to 1 day a week, which obviously has its positives and negatives. The positive was it wouldn't affect what you pay for trash collection. We'll get to that in a second. The other one, of course, obviously, depends on how trashy you are. If you build up a full load for 2 days a week, yeah, that's what you need. 1 day a week is just going to cause a problem. Anyway, here's City Administrator Bell.
My concern primarily has been how do we serve? How do we continue to serve the citizens of Macomb? And I wasn't sure of what exactly, with all the concerns we have in the city around money and trying to balance the money that is coming into the city along with the services we provide. It's a challenge. There's no question about it. And to know that when we look at sanitation for us, it's an account that's been upside down. But for now, I'm still leaning toward us being able to provide the same service today that we did yesterday. And so that was my recommendation to the board. And what I'm going to ask David if he would come up. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor.
David from Waste Management to discuss the plans moving forward.
Mr. David, how are you doing?
Doing fine. Sorry, y'all, weather was pretty rough up in Jackson this afternoon. Let me bring my friend in. You gotta get in there. That's okay. Here's the car.
That will be the card that every citizen will get, or every household, should I say.
Every resident will get this. Every address will get this that's on your list.
Okay.
Put the top down. Put it in the back seat.
I did go through this.
Go ahead.
I did go
You heard about a card there. Keep listening.
through this transition up in Maryland. I still have a house in Maryland, so we still do this. And they work very well for us. The transition for me was making sure I turned the thing the right way, so I didn't get an ugly note on the can that says you turned it the wrong way. And so, but at first I was like, "Are you serious? I'm paying for it." Bottom line is, they work well for us up there, and they still do. That's my experience.
And plus, I've talked
Leave the
with.
place forward towards the road.
I've talked to one of the board members there in Brookhaven. They have moved to this type system, and they're happy with it, from what they told me. So hopefully, our citizens, once we get it in place, and we get through the ups and downs the first month or so, they'll think the same way.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Okay, they're talking about having a cart for your cans to be in, and that's so that, to oversimplify it slightly, the garbage truck will have a robot arm that'll come down and just dump it into the truck and move on. That's kind of what, not really, but it's kind of what we're talking about here.
Yes, ma'am.
I do want to point out that to Mr. David and to this board that I reached out myself to Attorney Brandon Frazier from the county regarding the contract. He said he had watched the City of Macomb's meeting from last week, and he was not aware that he was supposed to be writing the contract for the county, and so he was waiting on something, Mr. David from Waste Management. So at this point, I have no contract to review. If we were the guidance that the board put out was the county was taking lead on development of a contract. If I need to just draft the contract, I can, but I don't know that it's going to have you all terms in it. And so then we would end up going back and forth. But at this point, as and I took the lead on that because I had not heard anything So we, to this board, there is still no contract between us and Waste Management.
Okay.
Which is what's being negotiated right now. She's just saying nobody has written it because everybody thinks everybody's waiting on somebody else, basically. If that's not a capsule description of government, I don't know what is. Everyone's waiting on somebody else to do something before they do something. That's about how it works usually, actually.
I think what we're doing tonight is just sending a signal to Waste Management that we intend to continue with 2 collections per week. That's all. We don't have a contract. We're just sending the message that we plan to continue with 2 collection days per week. Hopefully, Madam Attorney, in the next couple of days you'll have a contract to review. I'm hoping.
Yes, you will.
But and Mr. David said yes, you will. Okay. You may, Mr. Bell.
The other, as soon as we can start, we want to start working through the process, because this is not something you get up in the morning and go do. We have to educate our citizens. We have to send out flyers. We have to be proactive in how we roll this out, and be able to communicate what the timeline is. And so these things are important. So as soon as we can.
Tomorrow we have a meeting here. There will be 7 Waste Management employees that are on this team. That's all they handle is what we're doing. And we will be putting together the timeline tomorrow. And Ms. Collins, in last week's meeting, the county, and the mayor can verify this, has always handled the contract. They've always been the one to put it out. And I just simply stated, I thought they were going to do it, because one of them told me they were going to put the contract out. But that's here nor there. We've got a contract for y'all to review. We need to know what service level that you are looking at and decide on.
Now, let's cut to the chase here, because there was mention in this long conversation, this went on for quite a while, about there would be a rate increase going with this new plan and keeping it at 2 pickups a week, which brought some good questions from the board. Selectwoman Tabitha Felder-Isaac and Selectman Matt Cotting in agreement, full agreement. He even says that we might need to take a look at this.
Selectwoman Isaac.
Mayor, okay, the water study said we do not need to have a water study until like 2027. Maybe we might also need to drop the water bill, maybe $2 or $3 to make everything stay the same. I'm saying this is something that we need to put on the floor and talk about later in one of our work sessions so it can stay the same with our customers. I'm just being honest. We need to look at maybe dropping the water bill, maybe $2 or $3. The water study said it was good. I'm just being honest. We need to look out for the people who are paying for all this stuff, and they don't really want to increase.
Selectman Cotting.
I couldn't agree with Selectwoman Isaac more. I do think a rate study needs to be done after this point. If we can, I do think twice weekly is the right direction for the city. I agree with the city administrator 100%. The only holdup is how do we do this in a way that does not increase our utility bill? And I think that's a really important part, that he needs an answer and our citizens need an answer on what the final bill is going to look like. And I think we owe that to them. And so I plan on bringing up next week, or next chance we have to have a work session. Let's get a rate study done for sanitation and see what it takes. I don't know if that should hold up this vote today. I'm not asking for that. I'm just saying I think it's probably the right choice to make sure we get right-sided in our sanitation fund.
Well, it's kind of nibbling around the right question. Selectman Bruce Mullins from Ward 5 directly asked the right question everyone would want to know here.
Without the rate study, what are we looking at as far as an increase at this particular time?
As I recall the numbers, I mean, I think the last. I'm sorry, Mr. Ken.
Go ahead.
I think the last, if I provided the numbers, the increase in the numbers the last two times we got together, but if I recollect, I think the increase was around what $1.48 or $1.84.
I got a question for you. Not necessarily a strict criticism, but I've been in a lot of meetings. I've led a lot of meetings in my life. Not in government, obviously, but a lot of them. How do you not, when you see this item on the agenda, you know you're going to be talking about the new trash contract. You know you're going to be talking about that the rate's going to go up, and you don't have that information in front of you. We're not thinking past the end of our nose sometimes. How do you not just immediately have that number to come right back with? Because you know, if you just generically say there's going to be an increase, someone, in this case, Selectman Mullins, is going to say, how much is this increase we're talking about? And you don't have the number in front of you on a piece of paper? That just seems like a lack of forethought, a lack of thinking down the road, thinking about what could happen and being prepared for it. Just wanted to point that out.
Very minimal.
Yeah. And so, but there was definitely an increase. And I think when I did the CUME calculation, it came out to be around 780 or something like that. And don't quote me on that because I don't truly remember until I go back and look at the documents that I provided the last 2 weeks.
Well, there you go. He already told you once. He's not going to tell you again, but it was definitely somewhere around $1.48 or $1.84 or $7. Practically no difference, right? We need clarity in city government in Macomb. This was a great example of how we don't have that. We're discussing the new trash contract. We're going to mention that there was a rate increase built into it. The rate's going to go up. And someone says, how much is the increase? And you go, well, I don't really remember. I gave you that some time back. I don't remember. It was $1.48 or it was $1.84 or it was the CUME calculation was 7 something. But yeah, there will be an increase. Well, thank you for that. If you go and you take your car to get it repaired, or you call the air conditioner repairman, or you get somebody to cut your grass, and they agree to do it, and they say, well, now, you know, since the last time I came around and did this for you, prices have gone up. And you ask, okay, how much? How much are we looking at here? What kind of increase? And they go, well, we could be going up $10. We could be going up $15. Might be $70. I don't know. Yeah. That's the problem. Here was the vote.
All in favor of the twice a week service, say aye.
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 Opposers, nay. Ayes have it.
Okay. So voted for that. Your trash bill will go up. How much? Yes. Yes, it will. And that's, with any amount of certainty, what we know. Running like a finely oiled machine. In other words, it's another day that ends in Y with the Macomb City Board. Got a couple of other things after the break. Got a bunch of stuff that was talked about last night. Going to spill some of it over until tomorrow, I'm sure. When we come back, resort status. Do you hand it out like Halloween candy or not? Got an answer to that last night. Again, still, whatever word you want to use. We'll talk about that when we return on Super Talk, Mississippi Pike County 93.5. Keep it right here.
Every now and then, we remind all of you loving, awesome, hardworking husbands that you have a premium it's time to renew. No, it's not life insurance, car insurance, or health insurance. It's way more important than those. I'm Kristen. Gentlemen, it's time to renew those long-term wife insurance policies. When you surprise her with a gift from Selman's, you remind her that no matter what lies ahead, you and she will get through it together. Your gift tells her this long-term wife insurance policy is for life. Renew your long-term wife insurance policy right here at Selman's. We're in it for the long term with you.
Don't miss Dave in the morning. Even when you miss it the first time, you can catch it on the podcast. Missing out would be a crime. Super Talk 93.5 is always the place to be. Wanna get the podcast version? Here, my friend, is the key. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. It's all there and it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon, or Apple, or just right there on the page. Dave in the morning, late at night, or anytime you have the crave. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
Dave Hughes here. Remember, every weekday morning at 9:06, it's Dave in the Morning, where we solve the problems of the world, or at least complain about them really loudly and sarcastically. And if you miss out, you can catch up with the podcast version of Dave in the Morning at SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. Sing it with me. I'd like to nominate that for the City of Macomb anthem. Governmentally, the people are fine. It's the nonsense that's causing problems. Now, this has been discussed quite a few times about granting resort status to the Daiquiri Shop in downtown Macomb, that just opened a year or two ago. And now we're going to give it resort status. I still remember the months and months and months, probably, I think it was years, long battle to get Buddy's recognized as resort status. It had been there forever. The building has been there since time immemorial. I'm pretty sure it was put together by cavemen in the Pleistocene era. It was a fixture of Delaware and of Macomb, and it took forever to get resort status to advance that conversation at all about Buddies. So now you got this new one just pops up, and let's give it resort status. And of course, what resort status does, it eliminates a lot of the rules. You can be open whenever you want, as long as you want. You can be open 24 hours, practically. You can do all the special stuff. This has been talked about over and over and over. Last night, that was on the agenda for a vote yet again.
Number 4, consider approving the Daiquiri Factory for designation as a resort status establishment. Can I get a motion and second? Select Woman Isaac, Select Woman Baylor. Discussion.
None.
None? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I hear a couple ayes. Let me see. Select Woman Isaac, Select Woman Baylor. Anyone else? None? Nays?
Nay.
Nay being Selectman Cotting, Selectman McKenzie, Selectman Mullins, Selectman Thompson, all saying nay.
And I think that's an appropriate outcome. And that has nothing to do with the daiquiri factory, the owners of the daiquiri factory. None of that. None of that matters in this situation. Again, we don't just hand out resort status like Halloween candy. Has to be earned. You have to have a track record. You have to have a history. You have to bring value to the community. And when I say value to the community, I go back to my example of Buddy's. Buddy's is kind of an institution. There's a lot of history there. There's a lot of history there. It has a cultural impact in the city of Macomb. Buddy's does. It does. I don't know, just by dint of time, I don't know that the daiquiri factory rises to that level. Nothing against the business. Good for them. Who doesn't like a good daiquiri? That's not the problem. The problem is, you know, you go write a book and you publish it right now. And then come first of the year in like 7 months, you start the push to get it introduced and included in the Library of Congress. No. You gotta have a little road between those two things. And I think that was the impetus for that 2-4 vote, 2 in favor, 4 against. And now we move forward. It'll be back. Just you wait. One other thing I just wanted to point out, we talk about this all the time. I just wanted to point this out. We have talked for years about the disorganization at City Hall. And I'm using a kind word there. I mean, we've had a revolving door on multiple offices in City Hall for most of the last decade. There were some people that came into important positions in City Hall that didn't have time to learn where the bathroom was before they were gone. That lends itself to a certain amount of chaos. The chaos still exists. Fire Chief was being recognized last night for 25 years of service to the city of Macomb. Definitely something worth recognizing. That's a big deal. You do anything for 25 years, you probably need 2 or 3 pats on the back. That's dedication, especially in serving the public. I feel I'm qualified to talk on that again after over 40 years of being on the air. You do anything for 25 years, yeah, you deserve a certificate. I mean, not right now.
Normally, I would have a nice certificate to give to our fire chief, and I would stand up here and read that very nice certificate. However, we're in transition in the mayor's office, so we weren't able to get that certificate printed up for you. However, I will get it done.
Let me ask you a question. I leave it up to you to provide the answer to this question, but let me ask you a question. If you and your office cannot handle getting a certificate printed before a meeting, how are we doing on taking care of the details of keeping the city running, keeping the books in order, keeping the bills paid, keeping the employees paid, keeping the services running? See, I am a firm believer in the little things tell you exactly how the big things are going. They are a public bellwether for the general overall state of things. If you can't wash the dishes at your house, What's your checkbook look like? You know, that kind of thing. If you're not taking care of details, if you're not able to take care of details in a timely manner, what does that say? What does that indicate about how you're handling the bigger things? Mayor's office is in a state of transition. As opposed to every other year for the 8 years leading up to now. It's different this time. See, you call up the certificate, you type the name on it, click the print button, realize you didn't load the special paper, so then you got to go load the special paper, and then you come back and you click the print button again, then the toner was low, you got to go change that, then you go back and print it a third time, and there it is, bam, you're done. That is the most trouble-ridden version of printing a certificate I can think of, and that's less than 5 minutes. Just saying. I'm just asking questions. It's fun, isn't it? Yeah. Final break. We'll wrap it up right after this.
Every now and then, we remind all of you loving, awesome, hardworking husbands that you have a premium it's time to renew. No, it's not life insurance, car insurance, or health insurance. It's way more important than those. I'm Kristen. Gentlemen, it's time to renew those long-term wife insurance policies. When you surprise her with a gift from Selmans, you remind her that no matter what lies ahead, you and she will get through it together. Your gift tells her this long-term wife insurance policy is for life. Renew your long-term wife insurance policy right here at Selmans. We're in it for the long term with you.
Don't miss Dave in the morning, even when you miss it the first time. You can catch it on the podcast, missing out would be a crime. SuperTalk 93.5 is always the place to be. Wanna get the podcast version? Here, my friend, is the key. SuperTalk, PikeCounty.com, it's all there and it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon or Apple, or just right there on the page. Dave in the morning, late at night, or anytime you have to pray. SuperTalk, PikeCounty.com, it's all there and it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon or Apple, or just right there on the page.
Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out into the world.
Yep, about time for you to scurry along and get back to business. Before we do, a couple of things. A little bit of breaking news. This morning, the Supreme Court struck down Louisiana's second majority black congressional district. They said it was Cleo Field's district. Chief Justice John Roberts, it was a 6-3 decision along ideological lines. Chief Justice John Roberts said that the district is a snake, which, I mean, he's got a point. It stretches more than 200 miles. It includes parts of Shreveport, Alexandria, Lafayette, and Baton Rouge. If you know anything about the Louisiana map, yeah, that's a snake. Justice Samuel Alito wrote in the decision that map is an unconstitutional gerrymander. This Section 2 is on its last legs in the Voting Rights Act. I wanted to make sure to say this because, you know, we have a special session coming up in Mississippi to redistrict. Benny Thompson may be looking over his shoulder right now. because this has a direct impact on that, as you know. So we'll see. Don't forget, want to remind you again, here at the end of the show, in case somebody got here late, I like to sleep in too. I don't get to, but I like to. That it doesn't matter who you vote for in the primary. You can vote for whoever you want to in the general election. You vote in the Democratic primary next Tuesday in the city of Macomb. You vote for whoever you want to in the general election, and yes, you get to vote. The only restriction, because people are taking the truth and not even necessarily twisting it, just not telling the entire truth. If somebody walks up and they say, well, you know, if you vote in the Democratic primary on Tuesday, you're locked into voting Democratic. Technically, that's true, but they don't give you enough context and enough information to realize what they're talking about, because what that means is if you vote in the Democratic primary, you have to vote in the Democratic runoffs. If you vote in the Republican primary, we don't have one, so I'm not using that example. If you vote in a Republican primary, you're locked into voting in the Republican runoff. But after the primaries are over, everybody is eligible to vote in the general election, and everybody can vote for whoever they want to. You can vote Republican in the primary and Democratic in the general election. You can vote Democratic in the primary and Republican in the general election, and yes, you're allowed to vote. So we see that a lot where people don't fully understand, or they're just trying to mess with everybody. And the truth is, I call it being underrepresented, because that statement I gave you, it's true. But you got to know what they're relating it to. They don't allow people to give you the opportunity to fill in the blanks on important factual information. Do your research. Ask questions. You can call City Hall. You could call the county. You could call down to Magnolia. They're all going to tell you the same thing. Trust me. I've been doing this a long time. This is always a question. The answer has been the same for my entire career. This time is no different. How you vote, who you vote for, or if you vote on Tuesday has no impact on whether or not you can vote in the general election in June or who you can vote for. None. It has no effect on that at all. So keep that in mind as we move forward. The primary election, 6 days. Next Tuesday. Polls will be open from 7 till 7. You heard Selectman Cotting in that audio earlier talking about he was going to bring something up next week, and then he said, well, the next time we have a chance to have a work session. No work session next week. The boardroom at City Hall is going to be tied up with election stuff. So there won't be a work session. I mean, you know, considering the fact that several of the seats around that table will be decided in the Democratic primary, I have a feeling we'll still have things to talk about next Wednesday. Just a sneaking suspicion I have that we'll find something to discuss, I'm sure. You have a wonderful day. Got a chance of rain today, so take your bumper snoot with you. And we'll do this again tomorrow morning at 9:06. My friend, I'll see you then.
SuperTalk Mississippi Media Production.